The earthquake with magnitude 5.2 occurred in Tajikistan. Shocks recorded seismological experimental methodological expedition of the Ministry of Emergency Situations of Kazakhstan. The epicenter of the seismic event was located 621 kilometers from Almaty on the territory of Tajikistan. There are no reports of damage and casualties. On October 20, the earthquake with magnitude 4.9 occurred on the border of Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. The epicenter of the tremors was located 176 kilometers west of Almaty. The consequences of the earthquake were not reported. In the Chelyabinsk region, 12 people were injured in a serious traffic accident. Dozens of flights at the airport were cancelled, all because of heavy snowfall and icy conditions. In what other regions winter has come? 6 ambulance crews took the victims to hospitals in Chelyabinsk. 11 passengers received various injuries when the bus collided with a car and crashed into a pole. The traffic police asked drivers to be more attentive in conditions of such snowfall. During the movement, strictly observe traffic rules, do not violate the speed limit and distance between the means, avoid sharp maneuvers on the road. Take into account the weather conditions and the state of the road surface, urged ahead of the Technical Supervision Department of the State Automobile Inspectorate for the city of Chelyabinsk, Vitaly Lipovtsev. Another bus went off the road on the Troitsky track near Chelyabinsk. The driver failed to cope with the control. By luck, no one was seriously injured. More than 10 flights from Chelyabinsk have been cancelled. Passengers are given hot meals right at the airport. Many were supposed to fly with a connection in the capital but remain waiting for the weather to improve. An earthquake has struck Nepal. 128 people are known to have died so far. Strong tremors were felt in the capital of Nepal, as well as in neighboring India. More than 128 people have died in western Nepal as a result of a strong earthquake. Most of the victims are in the hard-hit districts of Jajarkot and Rukam, 500 kilometers from the capital Kathmandu. Military and security forces have been deployed to help rescuers, BBC reports. More than 100 people have reportedly been injured. Jajarkot's hospital is full. Authorities expect the death toll could rise further. Within an hour after the main earthquake, there were 3 more aftershocks because of what many people spent the rest of the night on the street. It is specified that strong tremors were also felt in the capital of Nepal, as well as in neighboring India. The video of local media shows collapsed facades of high-rise buildings. People are digging through the rubble, trying to find survivors. However, search and rescue operations are hampered as roads are blocked by landslides caused by the earthquake. The country is in the zone of high seismic activity in the Himalayas. Thus, in 2015, 2 strong earthquakes occurred in Nepal. Then 9,000 people died, 22,000 were injured, and thousands of houses were destroyed. Storm Siren has hit northwestern Europe. The number of victims of the deadly storm has increased to 6. According to the agency, the wind speed in places reaches 150 to 207 km/h. In the west of Europe, schools and airports are closed, as well as stopped rail traffic. A truck driver died when a tree fell on him in France, while a second fatality was reported in Le Havre. 15 people were also injured in France, including 7 firefighters. 1 person was seriously injured in the town of Roubaix in the north of the country. Falling trees also caused the death of a woman in the Spanish capital Madrid and another in the southern Netherlands. 2 people died in the Belgian city of Ghent, a 5-year-old child from Ukraine and a 64-year-old German woman. Both deaths occurred as a result of falling branches. In addition, 1.2 million French households were left without electricity. Wind speeds in the regions of the country reached 207 km/h, which led to 20-meter waves near the coast. Local authorities urged people to stay indoors. Forecasters predict the bad weather is already receding. The danger level has been reduced from red to orange. The State Meteorological Agency of Spain also announced the red level of danger, informed about waves up to 9 meters high. A powerful 5.2 magnitude earthquake has occurred in Romania. Underground tremors were recorded at a depth of 16.5 kilometers near the city, with a population of about 100,000 people. In the southwest of Romania was recorded an earthquake with a magnitude of 5.2 points. This is evidenced by the data of the Romanian National Institute of Geophysics. According to scientists, the epicenter of the earthquake was located 14 kilometers to the northwest from the city of Târgu, the population of which is about 97.1 thousand people. The strength of the earthquake was 5.2 MSK. It occurred at a depth of 16.5 kilometers at 1668 local time, coincides with Kiev time. Repeated tremors with a power of 3 points occurred 20 minutes later at a depth of 15 kilometers. At the time of publication there was no information on the damage and victims of the cataclysm. Once in 200 years. A massive flood in Australia has left entire regions without food. The flood started in Australia's southern states, cut off transportation links to the west of the country, and is now moving eastward. Severe flooding, which happens once in 200 years, caused huge damage to the country's infrastructure, flooded the southern states, and cut off the western regions of Australia from rail and road communication. Disruptions to food supplies, according to experts, will last for several weeks. Losses of enterprises are estimated in tens of millions of dollars, according to the Australian news. Last week, the Australian continent was hit by an abnormal amount of rainfall. 3 times the amount of moisture spilled into the country every day, with rains predicted for this week. The rainfall has been particularly heavy in southern Australia. On Friday, the government declared a state of emergency in several southern regions of the country, which will last 14 days. Flooding has destroyed highways across the country and damaged railroad tracks in 8 places. Over the weekend, city streets in southern states turned into rivers, with water destroying major highways and washing away cars. The disaster damaged a crucial rail line connecting Sydney and Perth. It carried 90% of the food that comes from the eastern states throughout the western region. Now stores, cafes, restaurants, hospitals, nursing homes, kindergartens and even military bases are cut off from food producers and suppliers. Authorities are trying to solve the problem by road transport, but supermarkets are already imposing restrictions on the sale of products such as chicken, mincemeat, sausages, tissues, flour, rice and milk. The inclement weather is now continuing, and meteorologists are predicting the storms will head to the east of the country within a week.